You know, it's so important that we are compassionate with those who are hurting, that we understand their need. Jesus was so good at that, from the tender touch of a blind man to let him know that he was going to care for him, to the compassion that he shows these two individuals. I think it starts by helping people to understand the character of God, because that's our hope. Because their circumstances may not change. If they've experienced the death of someone they love, that circumstance is not going to change. So what is their source of strength and hope? It begins with who God is. It begins by reminding them that though their circumstances have changed, the nature of God hasn't changed. He is still all-powerful. This didn't take him by surprise. It's not an accident. It's what he planned for them in eternity past. And then combine that with his wisdom, that God knows what's best. He knows the end from the beginning. He not only knows the best end for us, but he even knows the best means to get us there. Combine that with God's compassion. As we go through the difficulties of this life, God is not untouched by that. Again and again, God says, I am compassionate. I am moved by pity over your circumstances and what you're facing. So to help them see, even in the life of Christ, how again and again he manifests that quality that is true of God, as well as the goodness of God. That God doesn't intend to use this for their harm, but for their good. So I think it's about reciting the character of God. I also think then it's about reviewing the promises of God. Look at what God says he will do. And although it's often used in a very trite way, Romans 8:28 has such profound comfort that for those who love God, and the reason we love God is because God has called us to himself powerfully through the gospel, because he set his love upon us. For us, God causes all things to work together for good. He will use it for our spiritual good, for his glory, and someday in his presence, it'll all make sense. The tapestry that looks so confused from the backside will suddenly come together in a beautiful pattern of God's creative design.